Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, students. In the last lecture, we have completed the chapter number 1.3, and we have discussed the self-test questions from 1 to 14, and I give to the homework as a question number 15. And last, we have discussed the concepts related to disposal of an asset and calculated the loss and profit on disposal, and how to make journal entries related to disposal of an fixed asset and make some ledgers related to the disposal of an asset. Uh, this uh, this is journal entries related to the disposal of an asset. We have four journal entries normal. Number one is sale of an asset, then reversal of accumulated depreciation in case of sale of an asset, then we record the sale proceed, and the last we calculate the if there is a loss, we will debit the profit and loss account. If there is a profit, then profit loss will be the credit, and plant disposal or machinery disposal account should be the debit, and it is the here is the disposal account. So we discuss all the related entities, and the final concept was related to the exchange of an asset. So partly we will receive the cash, and partly we will give the old asset. So part exchange of non-current asset in case of disposal of an asset. So in part exchange, we give some amount in cash, and instead of cash, we give our old asset in exchange of new asset. So this is the part exchange concept. And the last, we have discussed the extracts related to the statement of profit and loss account and statement of financial position. In case of disposal, profit and loss go to the income statement, and the statement of financial position, accumulated appreciation or asset should be recorded to the net book value. Net book value also called is WDV, that is the written down value, and also called the carrying amount. So that was the self-test question we have discussed. So now we will start chapter number 1.4, that is related to reconciliation and verification. So the first concept related to reconciliation and verification is the need to reconcile and verify ledger account using documentation from internal and external source. We have to verify our accounts by using our internal and external source. What is the internal source? Internal source are those source which are used within the industry, which can be used within the industry. External source are related to the third party, that may be a customer receipts, supplier receipts, banks, government, etc. So by using the internal or external source, we will verify our ledgers account. So here is the benefit and limitation of reconciliation and verification procedure. Number one, the benefit of the reconciliation and verification technique used are largely twofolds. Now, first one is they help to ensure that account and the financial statement that are produced based on the accounts are error free. So it ensures that the account we have maintained is the free from error. This means those group using the financial statement can be confident that the financial statement are based on realistic information or not on the biased information. So the second one is the benefit of the reconciliation and verification is this. The technique helps speed up the location of any error that are present in the accounting system. If we reconcile and verify the accounting ledgers, if we trace any error, so it will be very easy for us to accommodate that error into our ledgers. So our ledger at the end of the accounting period will free from all errors. These technical systems are potentially time consuming. However, one may argue that overall they provide saving of time, given that they are more likely to locate an error sooner rather than later. So it will be a time taking procedure to trace all the accounting ledgers, but at the end there are some techniques which accountant should use to verify either there any error exists in the accounts or not. So that the method to identify an error in the accounts, one of the method is called the trial balance verification method. So we verify the trial balances, and by verifying the trial balances, we witnesses some errors. Although that error will not affect the balance related to trial balance, but there is some hidden error exists in the trial balance. So reconciliation related to trial balances. The trial balance was originally covered in chapter 1.2. We have covered this. That was the basic trial balance. We just have to seek to learn how to make trial balance. But in this chapter 1.4, here is the advanced version of trial balances where we will read about the error exists in the trial balance. If the total of the debit and credit column disagree or not same, then error will exist in the ledger. However, you may recall that even if the two total of the debit and credit column agree, then there may still be error present. So, as per our concept that we have read earlier, that in case of trial balance, if debit and credit side of trial balance is equal, it's mean there is no error exists in the trial balance. So trial balancing and error concept said, number one, if there is a clearly mentioned that debit side is not equal to credit side, it's mean there is an error exists in the trial balance. So it is the clear indication that some error exists in the trial balance. Some errors exist in the trial balance. Balance if debit side of total not equal to credit side total, and that error may be due to the you can see the error of addition within the one ledger account, uh, double the write the correct wrong amount in the credit or debit side. So this error can be due to the any reason. So this is not the area of our discussion. The main area which we focus on, that is the error that affect the trial balance. So this is the examiner favorite area which examiner must ask from the student. So these are the factors, error that affect the trial balance although the total of trial is agree. For example, in this case, in this scenario, debit side although equal to credit side, it's mean trial is balance. It's mean trial is balance. If debit is equal to credit, for example, debit is 100 and credit is 100, it's mean trial is balance. Trial is balance. It doesn't mean trial balance is free from error. If a debit is equal to credit, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean trial balance trial balance is free from error. Is free from any error. There may be some hidden error exists in this scenario. Maybe some hidden error exists. There is a chances that some hidden error exists. So we have total 6 errors. Although the trial is balance, in the trial balance, still we have 6 different types of error that affect the trial balance, although the total debit and credit is equal. So the error of list related to this error may be, here is the 6 type of error which affect the which do not affect the trial balance, although the trial balance is equal. So that is the 6 error that was I was talking. So in this scenario, the debit side equal to credit side, although the debit and credit equal, and it always be equal. So there will be some hidden errors related to these are the 6 errors which exist in this scenario always. Although the debit and credit side is equal, there is a chances that this secretly 6 errors types of error exist in the trial balance. The number one is error of commission reversal, error of omission, principal, error of original entry, and compensating error. So we will discuss one by one. But earlier, there are some errors. Some error exists in the trial balance which affect the trial balance, which normally affects the trial balance. For example, oh, so this is case of the earlier one. This is not the case. This is the case of this scenario, and this was the case of that I discuss later. So we have to remove this concept from here, and this relate to actually this one. Okay. So here are some errors which affect the trial balance. Where debit side not equal to trial balance, maybe the debit side is 100 and credit side maybe you can say 130. So how this possible? Which error uh, instigate either to down the debit side or increase the credit side? So the first error related to this phenomena is this. Number one, check that you have added a debit column correctly and also that you have added the credit column correctly. So if you added debit column correctly and credit column correctly, nothing error will be happen. If we debit wrongly and credit wrongly, then debit will not equal to the credit. So this is the first one error. Check that there are lots of more entries in the debit column than there are in credit column. The debit column should only contain asset expense. You have to remember this. All the assets and expense related to the debit family relates to the debit family. So all the asset and expense should be the debit column, and all the liabilities or income or benefit should be written on the credit column. If we violate this phenomena, we violate this rule, so the debit not be equal to credit. Third one is, if you can't find the error, look at the total. If the total of debit column is smaller than the total of credit column, check that you have not missed a debit balance. If the credit column total is smaller of the two, check that you have not missed a credit balance. So the other reason is maybe debit not equal to credit mean we have some entries. We have missed some entry in the debit side. Maybe a plus 30 may be written here. So 130 may be equal to 130. There may be chances. So that's why debit not be equal to credit if we forget to record either a debit side entry or a credit side entry. Fourth one is, if the error has not been found by going through the 3 previous points, divide the difference in the total by 2. Then look to see if an asset has been incorrectly placed in the column credit column, the liability has been placed in the debit column. In the incorrect column, will double the mistake. So maybe the error debit not equal to credit. The reason is this: we have wrongly written the debit side entry into the credit column and credit column entry into the debit column. So by doing this mistake, by posting debit entry into the credit column, incorrectly placed in the credit column, the nature of asset is debit, but we incorrectly placed to the credit column, and the liability has the credit nature, and we incorrectly placed to the debit column. So then obviously debit will not be equal to credit if asset will be written in the credit column and liability will be written in the debit column. Fifth one is the reason where debit not equal to credit. If you divide the difference in trial balance total by 9 and your answer is whole number, then the error could be what is known as transposition error. For example, 123 entered as 132 would give a difference in the trial balance total of 9. So it's a difference of 9. 96 written as 69 could cause a difference in trial balance of total 27, which is divisible by 9. If you judge that the difference of error and that error will be divisible by 9, so it's an indication that there will be a transposition error. Transposition error mean we should write 123 but wrongly we written 132. So this is the transposition error. And if we the difference of debit and credit, if we total that difference by 2, it means there will be a some entry that is the increase by 2 and the one entry decrease by 2. So there may be chances that we have wrongly placed the accounting head. Asset will be written in the credit column and liability will be the written on the debit column. So there will be chances. So here are 5 reasons where if we do this, so that after this mistake, our debit not equal to the credit. Okay. So what will we do now? In general, trial balance that fail to agree is likely to have been caused by one or more of the following: a debit or credit item but not both being missed out, difference amount being entered for each half of the double entry, to debit or to credit being entered for a transaction rather than one of each. So these are the 3 common related mistakes which ultimately decides that debit side is not equal to credit side. So the debit will be written the credit side. Mistakenly, we have wrongly debit the asset by wrong amount or some other mistakes related to this. That is the asset should be written on the debit side, but instead of writing on a debit, we written on the credit side. So these are the mistakes where we witness that debit is not equal to credit. Now, the another main concepts as per the examiner point of view. So this is the most important as per the exams. Examiner must ask question from this area. So we can say this is the 100% important. 100% important. Okay. There are the 6 errors. 6 error which do not affect the trial balance. So if we witness that, if we see that debit is equal to credit, generally we can say that there is no error exists in the trial balance, but it doesn't mean trial balance is free from any error. There may be some hidden error exist. These are 6 hidden errors which might exist in the trial balance. So here is mnemonics related to remember these 6 errors. That is the you can see this CROPOC, CROPOC, you can say this. CROPOC. C for commission, error of commission. R for reversal, O for omission, P for principal, O for original entry, and C for compensating error. So CROPOC is the you can say mnemonics of the commission, reversal, omission, principal, original, and compensating error. So in this class we will discuss one by one error. Okay. So let's start from error of commission. Error of commission. So here is some scenario related to the discussion of this error. For example, okay, we have to prepare the three column. In the first column, we will write the original entry. So this is the column where we write the original entry, the original genuine entry, and here is the uh, wrong entry which we wrongly record. Here we can write our wrong entry, and the third column we will rectify our wrong entry. So here is the rectification, rectifying entry, or you can say the rectification of error, rectification of an error. So the number one error related to the error of commission. So the first one is error of commission. When error of commission happen, when error of commission happen, for example, error of commission happen if we enter the correct amount but wrong account. Amount is correct but select the wrong account. This will happen. Correct amount. Amount is correct. You can say this correct amount. Uh, but right wrong account is selected. Uh, Amount is correct. Correct amount. But wrong account is selected. You can say this account is wrong. Account is wrong. Amount is correct. You can say this. Correct amount. Amount is correct. Amount is correct, but error is account is wrong. We select the wrong account. For example, here is example. If $600 rent was paid by check and the motor expense account was debited with 600, the error would not be revealed by the trial balance. It is a common for the error of commission. So what's the right entry? What is the right entry? The right entry is, if 600 rent was paid by check. So this is the right entry. So firstly we will write the right original entry. 600 rent was paid by check. So the original entry is rent expense debit by 600 and it is paid by check, mean bank is credit. So bank is reduced by 600. So this is the original entry. And what wrong we did it? We wrongly, instead of rent account, the motor expense account was debited with 600. You can see this amount is correct. 600 debit, 600 debit. So amount is correct, but wrong account is wrong. What account? Instead of rent, we use the motor expense. Account is wrong. We use motor instead of this rent. So we wrongly debit the motor expense account by 600 and bank is credit by 600. Here is we can write by black color. You can see. So bank is credit by 600. So you can witness that the original entry bank should be credit, and in wrong entry we also bank is credit. So there will no worry about bank. So the bank should be credit and we also credit the bank. So there is no error in the recording of bank. So error is happen here. Here is the error. We have to debit the rent, but wrongly we debit the motor expense. So what will be the rectifying entry? The rectifying entry will be, the original entry rent should be the debit. So we debit the rent account by 600. And to nullify the effect of this debit, so the motor expense should be the credit. So this credit automatically eliminate the debit impact of this motor expense. So we credit the motor expense by 600. So actually this is the rectifying entry. So we will rectify our account by entering rent debit by 600 and motor expense by 600. So this is called the error of commission, where where we wrongly select the account. So account is wrong. Instead of using rent, we debit the motor. So this is the error of commission, where our account is wrong, but we select this 600. Here is 600. Amount is correct, but account is wrong. So this is the error of commission. Second one is the, here is the error of commission. Second one is error of reversal. What is the error of reversal? In error of reversal, In error as well, this occurs when correct figure are used but both entries are entered on the wrong side of the account. So in this case, we can say this correct amount is correct, amount is correct, uh, but recorded on wrong side. Amount is correct, amount is correct, and you can say amount and account is correct. You can say this amount is correct and also account is correct, but the wrong thing is this, we recorded on the wrong side, we recorded on the wrong side, we recorded on wrong side, we recorded on the wrong side of each account. What does it mean? Internally, we can say this: the debit wrongly written into the credit side, and the credit wrongly written to be the debit side. So this is the error of complete reversal. For the example, so this is the example: error 1, error 2. So this is the example of error 1, and here is the example of error 2, error of complete reversal. For example, uh, if $70 of good were purchased from P Smith, and P Smith account in the purchase ledger was debited by $70, the purchase account in the general ledger was credited with $70. The trial balance would still balance. So this is the actually the error of complete reversal. So what does it mean? Yes, yes. So this is the correct entry. That is this: if $70 of good were purchased from P Smith, this yellow one is the original entry. So originally we purchased goods from P Smith. So P Smith our creditor, and we purchase his good. So the original entry will be the purchase debit by 70, and P Smith is our creditor. P Smith is our creditor. So creditor will be the credit. So this is the original entry. We should have passed this entry. But what wrong we do this? But wrong we did it. We did P Smith account in the purchase ledger was debited by 70. But we wrongly debit P Smith. But actually purchase should be debit. But we wrongly debit the P Smith. But actually P Smith should be the credit. We debit P Smith, and purchase account in the ledger was credited by 70, and we credit the purchase. So we wrongly purchase, we wrongly write the entry. The debit we wrongly written in credit, the credit entry we written as the debit entry. So it means we will reverse all these entry. So we reverse it. So the debit we written as credit, or credit we written as debit. So it's mean amount is correct. So the here is 70, 70, 70. Amount is correct and account is correct. So we use purchase P Smith, purchase P Smith. So account is also correct. But what wrong we did it? We recorded on wrong side of each account. Mean debit written as credit, credit written as credit. So what will be the rectifying entry at the end of this? The rectifying entry is this: just a minute. So here is the rectifying entry. It's mean, first of all, we have to follow this original entry. So originally purchases debit, so we debit the purchases. Purchases debit by 70. We can write this. By using the same color, it will be more beneficial to understand this. So the purchase is debit, so we debit the purchase. Purchase debit by 70. And the P Smith should be credit, so we credit the P Smith by 70. So this is the original entry we should record. And we wrongly debit the P Smith. By eliminate this impact, we credit the P Smith. We credit the P Smith. This is debit. By eliminating this impact, we credit the P Smith by 70. And we wrongly credit the purchase. By eliminating this effect, we debit the purchase. We debit the purchase by 70. So this is the rectifying entry. And at the end, we should pass this comprehensive exam. this one entry, that is the final entry. Purchase debit by 70 70 140, purchase debit by 140, and P Smith credit by 140. So this is the final rectifying entry related to this error. Got it? Any problem? Okay. So here is the last entry. The next entry we will discuss in the last in the next lecture. Okay. So the third entry related to this error, that is the error of omission. The word omission means we forget to record. We forget to record. So this is the easy one entry. We forget to record. We forgot to record. To record entry. So this is the easy one. If we forget to record, we will record it again. So there is no surprise here. For example, this is the third entry related to error of omission. You can say this by error of omission. So payment of wages not entered in the book. So here we can say this payment of wages. Here we can write this here. Payment of wages not entered in the books. In the books. So it's very easy. If payment of wages not enter, we will enter it again. So what is the right entry? The original entry will be the wages expense debit by 50, and we must say the wages are being paid by cash. So the cash credit by 50. So what wrong we did it? So in the wrong account, we will never do it again. Never do nothing. So in wrong account, we forget to record. So what will be the uh, rectifying entry? So we will record it again. So this is the rectifying entry. So in rectifying entry, we will record it again. That is the wages debit by 50 and cash credited by 50. Okay, student, any problem at this stage? You can ask. Okay, so these are the three errors related to the trial balance, where trial balance never affect, do not affect. So we have discussed the three errors, that is the error of commission. This is the first error of commission. Second error of reversal. This is error of reversal, then omission. So in the next class, we will discuss error of principal, error of original entry, and the compensating error. Okay. So this is enough for today class. You have to revise all the concept related to this. Okay. Then we learn ahead next three errors. Okay. Any question? Okay, okay. I will send it to your group. That's why it's easy for you to record this. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.